Hello everyone, day 26 of confinement. And today, as you can see, we are back on the unemployment website, making every attempt. I've still not heard back anything from my paper submission. I also should tell you that the day after I put in the paper submission, they came out with the new mobile application, which really isn't a new application. It's just a way to turn in the paper application without physically turning in a paper application, because those pieces of information are still being sent through to the unemployment office, and they're still having to enter in all the information manually the same way as they would from the paper form. But I did both of them just because I figure, can't be too careful, can't be too thorough. That's the word I'm looking for. Can't be too thorough. But I'm also waiting to hear back from them once they get it in, because you have to have a PIN number. You have to have some sort of way of accessing into your claim in order to claim your weeks. That's the way it works here in Florida. You don't just get paid. You have to go in every 2 weeks and say, hey, I'm still unemployed, give me money. Which I guess is good, but in a system like what we have now, not so much. They know stuff is closed. They know that we're still in problems. I don't. But I did manage to get through yesterday. I called the phone line, and for the first time, I did not get shunted out of the system because it was full. I was able to get into the waiting queue. And man, I felt so good. I just sat here. I was just sitting here with the phone in front of the computer, just going, all right, good, cool, okay. They're gonna give me my number. I'm gonna be good. About an hour and 45 minutes on hold, which I expected, and still a long time. And I was getting afraid that my phone was gonna run out of batteries. But then a voice came on. Hello, this is Michael with the help desk. What can I do for you today? I'm like, yes! Hello, Michael. This is Peter. I'm so happy to talk to you. I just want to let you know before we start that I filled out both the paper form and the online form. I wanted you to know that beforehand so that you don't get, any kind of problems. And, I'm rambling a minute. Then I hear, hello, this is Michael. How can I help you? I'm like, what? Hello? Hello, Michael? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Michael? Michael? Hello? Hello, this is Michael. You can't hear me. Oh my God, I'm like taking the speakerphone off, putting the speakerphone on. Hello. I hit one of the number buttons because I thought maybe that might make a noise on his end. Meep. I hear you hitting numbers, but I can't hear your voice. I'm like, ah! So I'm just doing everything I can to try and get his voice. Well, thank you for calling the help desk. Goodbye. Like, ah! No. Please, no. Alas, it was true. He had hung up on me. And I tried to call back again, but at this point it was 4:45, and they closed the office at 5, and they weren't taking any more calls, so they just, again, pushed me right out. But today, at 2 o'clock, I called, and I didn't even have to wait. It didn't even go to the voicemail. It didn't even go to the, hi, your call is important to us. It just went, hi, this is Angelica. How can I help you? This is the help desk. How can I help you? I'm like, yes, can you hear me, Angelica? She's like, yes, I can hear you. She didn't know why. I had to explain to her later. But I said, hi, I'm Peter. And I gave her all the information. I told her what was going on. I told her that I messed up my PIN and needed to be reset. She reset me with no problem. She gave me my new PIN number, my new temporary PIN number. She said, okay, this new temporary PIN number, it's good for 24 hours. You just go into the system and sign in. You should be fine. I'm like, yay, good. I can get started with whatever base information I can do. So I jump in. I went to the system, this system here, and I clicked on it, went to the page, put in my information, put in my number, my social security number, then put in the new temporary password ID, and got another new page. And this one was, please change your password. And it gave me my new gave me the option to change my password, change my password, gave me some new security questions, all ones that I will know the answer to in the future. Very important. And I pushed submit. And the little blinky arrow up at the top just kind of stopped in the middle. And I'm like, oh please, oh please. And then an error page popped up. I'm like, all right, let me try this again. So I log back in again. Go through all the process, go through all the disclaimers, get to my page, put in my number. Now I'm thinking to myself, did it go through? Did I change my PIN number or not? Should I put in the temporary PIN number? Because if I put in the temporary PIN number and it doesn't work, now I've got one of my lockouts and I'll get locked out again after 3 tries. I don't want my social security number locked again. Well, I did put in my number, put in the temporary passcode number, and it did not work. It sent me back to a login verification authentication error. So at that point I figured, okay, well my information must have gone through. And for the next 3 hours, up until this point now, it's 7:56 p.m. right now. I have 4 more minutes before they shut the system down for the daily maintenance that they're doing every day, 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. And it won't go. It won't go in. I can't get in the system. It just keeps popping up an error message or a please close your browser and try again. This may take 2 or 3 tries. Yeah, it's been like 100. So I spent the majority of my day trying to answer a riddle. And the riddle seemed like it had a pretty good answer. A friend of mine had posted it on Facebook. I'm going to go through it here with you to explain to you why I don't think it's a fair riddle. And so when I clicked off there a second ago, it was really because the window popped up. At 7:58, the window popped up. And at 8 o'clock, it tossed me out. I can't make this shit up. But I don't, All right, well, since we're into it now, let's talk about this riddle. This riddle is based on a very, very old riddle that comes from the 18th century at the very latest. You know, there's records of it from 1783 or something like that, and it's a bastardization of that riddle. Now I'll tell you the original riddle. The original riddle is: as I gone down to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack had 7 cats. Every cat had 7 kits. Kits, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to St. Ives? Now this riddle was reintroduced to the world in Die Hard with a Vengeance, where Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis had to answer it in order to stop a bomb from exploding on a public street. Now, somebody who's math-minded might just jump right in at the numbers of this, thinking to themselves, oh, well, it's a whole bunch of 7s. Let me start multiplying. Well, let's write it all out. We have 7 wives, and they are happy ladies, some eyebrows, noses, smiles, wearing pretty dresses. So we have 7 wives. And every wife had 7 sacks. We have 7 sacks. And every sack had 7 cats. 7 cats. And every cat had 7 kids. Seven kids. Aw. So, you start multiplying. You had 7 times 7. That's 49, right? So now we have 49 total sacks. If each wife had 7 sacks. So that's 49 sacks. And there's 7 cats in each sack. So that's 7 times 49. And that becomes 343. And then you have 7 kits for every cat. So 343 times 7. Then you have 2,401. So you have 2,401 kits, 343 cats, 49 sacks, and 7 wives. So you have to add them all together, right? And that gives us 16, 19, 20, 0 carry the 2, 6, 10, 0 carry the 1. That is 7, 8. So 2,800 wives carrying sacks with lots and lots of kitties inside. 2,800 kits, cats, sacks, and wives. Now, if that were what was being asked, if the question were who I met on my way to St. Ives, that would also be wrong. Because you're still forgetting one person, and that is the man. The man with 7 wives. So it would be 2,801. But that's not the question. The question is, how many were going to St. Ives? I was going to St. Ives. As I gone down to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. So our heroes in Die Hard with a Vengeance also came up with the right answer. A little bit of frustration, I guess. Bruce Willis was unsure what was going on with the guy and his 7 wives. And Samuel L. Jackson had a pretty good answer.
The riddle begins as I was going to St. Ives. I met a man with 7 wives. The guy and his wives aren't going anywhere.
What are they doing?
Sitting in the fucking road, waiting on the moon. How the hell should I know?
Who's going to St. Ives then?
The guy. Just the guy.
The answer to the riddle is 1. So this riddle that is being touted to me on Facebook by my friend is similar to that. And the riddle is: one rabbit saw 6 elephants while going down to the river. Every elephant saw 2 monkeys going to the river. Each monkey holds 1 parrot in their hands. How many animals were going to the river? Now, my first instinct was, oh, this is the same riddle, it's just got animals instead of people. But it's not. The answer is not 1, because it very clearly states that the rabbit is going down to the river, but it also says that the elephants saw 2 monkeys going to the river. But the problem is that it's not clear. There is far too much information left out, and I'll explain why. When you're asking a word problem, clarity is important, but it is secondary to what the problem is being asked. I always had the problem when I was in school of delving too far into the question. You know, you get the standard train question. If train A leaves the station going 60 miles an hour in one direction and train B leaves the train station going 30 miles an hour going the opposite direction, how far apart are they in 30 minutes? Now, my head, it's looking for the excuses. It's looking for the exceptions. It's saying, well, what if the tracks aren't straight? All tracks curve. You know, it could be the curve of the Earth as well makes a big difference. We're not talking about a straight line anymore. We're talking about curves and we're talking about twists, but that's not what they're asking for. Also, another thing that my mind might go to is, oh, what part of the train are we talking about? Are we talking about from engine to engine? Are we talking about from the engine of one train to the caboose of another train? How many cars are on the train? How long is the train? Some trains can be up to a mile long in and of themselves. So these are all questions that I ask myself. But the word problem is only giving you certain information that it wants you to take into consideration. It's telling you that these are going in opposite directions. It's telling you their speed, telling you how much time you have. The answer, incidentally, is 45 miles between the two trains after 30 minutes. But that's not what we're getting at. This riddle is different because it is purposely tricky. It is intended to trick you. It is intended to be obscure. But it's intended to be obscure in a certain way and not in another. And unfortunately, because of the way it's worded and because of the way that it's kind of shoddily put together, it presents itself as a not clear question. Now let's take each element individually. You have one rabbit that is going to the river. One rabbit heading on off to the right there, or to his left, to his right, to your left, to the river. Right? Okay. There are 6 elephants hanging out somewhere on the path to the river. Sooner or later, the little rabbit, he comes across the 6 elephants. And the 6 elephants tell him about the 2 monkeys carrying parrots that they saw earlier in the day that were going also to the river. This is where we start to run into problems. Because the riddle says every elephant saw 2 monkeys going to the river. That does not necessarily mean that each elephant saw the same 2 monkeys. As you can see in my depiction here, they could have seen different monkeys because they're all facing different directions. Maybe one guy was asleep, but we know that they all saw 2 monkeys, just not that they were all the same monkey. That's our first inconsistency. The second one is that each monkey holds 1 parrot in their hand. That doesn't necessarily mean that each monkey is taking each parrot to the river. It just means that when the monkeys passed the elephants, they all had parrots in their hands. Parrots in their hands. Perhaps when they passed by the elephants, some of the parrots were like, dude, I'm out. Other ones were like, hey, I'd like to go to the river. That sounds like a good place to be. So, ultimately, the only thing that we know for sure is that we have 2 monkeys going to the river and 1 rabbit going to the river. So, our bottom end is equal to or greater than 3 animals going to the river. Because, like I said, we don't know if the parrots went. We don't know if the monkeys went. We don't know if there was only 2 monkeys or if there were more. And on the upper end, if every elephant saw 2 different monkeys with 2 different parrots, and every parrot decided to go the full way with those monkeys, then you have less than or equal to 25 animals at the river. So the proper answer to the question is greater than or equal to 3. the set that includes greater than equal to 3 up to less than equal to 25. And any number in between could be viable. Because any number of parrots could have flocked off, and any number of elephants could have seen the same monkeys. So there you have it. That's my riddle. That's my solution to the riddle. The correct answer, as I was told, should be 5. 2 monkeys. Every elephant saw the same 2 monkeys with the same 2 parrots, and all the parrots went directly to the water and the bunny. But as I said, doesn't say that the parrots were going to the water, just says that they're being held in the hand. Monkeys going to the water, bunny going to the water. Elephants staying right where they are, parrots in hand, but who knows for how long. So I stand by my answer. I hope you agree with me. I think I made a pretty compelling case. And, well, and since that's where I sit, I'm going to call it right there. That's day 26 of confinement, all done. Please remember, like, share, and subscribe. The buttons are there. They're available for you. Just use them. I hope you enjoyed the riddle for today. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Have a wonderful night tonight. And try and enjoy yourselves. Yeah, Teddy, I know that there was a distinct lack of bears in this riddle. And it would be better with bears. I agree. Totally. Maybe I'll draw a bear in here. That'll make you feel better? Then we can have 26 animals at the river.